Good morning from the farmer's garden. I'm one of the farmers. I'm heading out to start picking today, but I thought before I did that I would kind of update you on how the garden is looking. It's been a little bit since I did that. This is the time of year when the weeds look better than the plants, and so I tend to kind of fall off posting about the garden as much just because it doesn't look as good now. It's a lot more exciting to post about it when you can see more of the vegetables than the weeds. But I thought y'all might want a little update, see how things are going out here. So I'll take you through and show you what we're up to. And then we also have, we have all this space over here that is now prepped, and it's being watered now because when the sand is too dry, it doesn't make good beds for us to plant on, but we're gonna be ready to plant some more stuff in it pretty soon. In fact, hopefully today and tomorrow things will be planted out there. But I'm gonna start with what's already growing. All right, we'll just start on this end and work our way up. So we need to mow. We have been mowing between the rows this year. Down in here, you can't really see it anymore. There is a row, and this has been cantaloupe, but pretty much all the cantaloupe have been harvested and the vines are dead now. So we need to mow between these two and pull some weeds too. But it's June, almost July, and so it's getting really hot for pulling weeds. Okra is looking good. Okra really likes it hot and dry, so it's starting to really come on. I guess you can see in there all those blooms all down that row. And we try to pick our okra on the small side. Some people are like, oh, that's not a very big okra, but it's more tender that way. So this one's a little smaller than we would normally go through. Normally like finger length, something like that. Occasionally there'll be a big one in there, but we aim for smaller ones. These are the green beans, and we are replanting green beans in some of what we're doing this week, but they are still blooming. They are still making beans. They're just really slow now, but y'all have bought a lot of green beans this year. These have done well. This is the only row of spring peas that we've had, and they're kind of starting to bloom again, so we might get some more. We had this one row of cream peas, and they didn't even come up very good. They're very spotty through here, but this is all the spring peas we have. Fall peas are going out today. We really like fall peas. I think they make a better quality pea. But of course everybody wants the peas right now, so we're always a little hesitant to only have the fall peas because it feels like you miss out on sales that way. But the fall peas are always really good. So this is second planting of green zucchini. So it's second planting of green zucchini until about halfway down, and then it's second planting of yellow squash. I guess we'll head on down here. So you can see our other squashes that were so huge up there kind of starting to fall back, and I'll show you those in a little bit. Ooh, here's a pretty one. It's a weed. It's not supposed to be here necessarily, but I do love finding the pretty flowers out here. And these squash are looking a little sad. I think they need a treatment of fungicide. Looks like they've got a disease in them. That's what's causing these to wilt and die back. Like that one is probably getting a lot of shade from this tree behind me during the day. But we are picking yellow squash through there. This row is Mr. Stripey tomatoes. I'm going to see if I can get through it here. There's one right there. These are delicious little heirloom tomatoes. I say little. We had one this week that was over 2 pounds. They're not always little. So here's the cherry tomatoes. And as I've mentioned in a couple of other things this week, we are to the point of just not even being able to pick the cherry tomatoes more than about once a week. Not because they're not out here, but because we don't have space and we're not selling them fast enough. So, yeah, so we did a U-Pick event yesterday, and we had people come out and pick about 25 pounds of tomatoes, and then we sold another over 30 pounds that we had already picked. So these are the bumblebees up here. They're a nice yellow cherry tomato, sometimes reddish color. And then we have chocolate cherries up this way, but that's all tomatoes up through there. This chunk is mostly Roma tomatoes, like for making salsa and stuff. This variety of Roma is really finicky. I don't know if you can see that. If the water isn't just right, it gets blossom end rot really easily. All right, then we have this chunk that is just for fun. We've got a little chunk of cotton growing. So a little like preview idea that we've had is possibly growing enough of this for photographers to use it to bring families out for pictures. Now that won't be this year. This is Milo. This would be another one that would potentially make pretty pictures for photographers to, you know, if we don't grow very much of it. Kind of cool looking on there. But we thought that might be a neat plan. Just plant a little chunk of the cotton where people could come out and get family pictures in it. That might be cool. All right, cucumbers. And I know that I need to pick cucumbers. Yep, there's a pretty good size one right there. So these vines are looking sad. This is another thing that is being replanted this week. But they're still making. Just this is what we planted in March or April. This is all the cue ball squash that we have left because these were making way faster than we could sell them. So we pulled most of them. Then we start getting into patty pans that are almost done. The weeds, y'all. The weeds. These are yellow zucchini. So they're looking good. They're actually really trucking along still. We really have liked this variety. This round of pickles looks like it's about done for us. You can still see some of the vines down in the grass, but they're not looking great. I do need to come pick them though. There's quite a few out here. Another kind of patty pan squash over here. And then the only other thing in this spot is a chunk of peppers up there. We are not selling peppers this year. I'm saving them all to go in our spicy jellies. So we've got habaneros, a couple of different kinds of jalapenos. There's cayenne. We've got, where'd they go? Right here. We've got Carolina Reapers growing. So I'm excited about that. And then on this end, we've got, this was labeled as a Scotch bonnet. I'm thinking this is going to be red flame. I think they're a type of habanero. And then this one is a Scotch bonnet, but it looks terrible. I think the grasshoppers have eaten it. We have that one little pepper on there, but the rest of it looks bad. So that's the quick run through. We're still picking plenty. We're still getting enough to sell, especially in the tomatoes. They're looking really, really good. And those yellow zucchini and some of the patty pans are still doing really well. But like I say, we're going to be replanting more this week. I'm excited about that. Get some new stuff going, so that'll be great. Anyways, thank y'all for stopping by the farm today. Y'all be sure and tell your friends about our YouTube channel and come back when you can stay longer.